So here we have a couple of boards in view now, and the first one I want to do some tests on is this piece of timber here. So as you can see, it's got an oil-based gloss on. It's yellowed quite a lot now. You'll have to excuse the untidy state that these are in, but they have been lying around in my workshop for quite a while now. So what I want to do is, I want to recreate a similar condition as to the conditions I'd face on a job. So if I'm turning up at somebody's house and they want a water-based product putting on their timber, on their skirting boards, door arcs, etc., etc., they're not going to be in great condition, are they? So this is sort of like a similar piece of timber as to what I would find on a job. So as you can see, they have got gloss on. They have been previously coated in oil. And what I want to do is I want to key them, and I want to go and test a few different water-based products. So what I'll be doing now is giving them a quick key. So on a job, in the real world, I'd be using my Mercus dust-free setup. So this is my Mercaderos. I've got 120 grit sanding pad on, which I would use. So let's go for it. Turn that off safely, put that down. Right, so come to a customer's house. I want to key up these skirting boards and degloss them. So as you can see, that's what I've done on here. Right, so what we have here is the board's been labelled out. So we've got Armstead QD satin in that section. We have Dulux Diamond satin, which is a fairly new product, in this section. There's your Caparol PU satin, and at the bottom we have Albany Super Satin. So these are the products we're going to be comparing against each other. Basically, this is what I've got left over, and I have some of these items in stock. So on this particular test, we'll be comparing them for... we'll be doing a scratch test first of all to see how well it adheres straight over sufficiently prepped old gloss. So that is what these tests will be doing. Then we will be comparing them against each other for whiteness, which isn't that majorly important, to be honest with you, because they all vary, but they're all pretty close. And we'll also be comparing the durability, we'll be comparing the flow, etc, etc, etc. So I think the most important thing, first of all, is the thing we're going to be testing for, and that is the scratch test. That is very, very important when you're going over old oil, because what I want to do, I want to quash any doubts or that they can actually go straight on. I've actually done this myself, and I know you can go and buy adhesion primers, etc. But I find that these modern satins pretty much stick and adhere, or can do, as good as the adhesion primer. So we'll be doing a separate test comparing these products, the best ones that come out in the test, to the best adhesion primers. So that'll be for later on, so keep a lookout, everybody, the please. Actual products in the tins. So I'll be going straight from these tins. I'm going to be applying 2 coats, and I'm going to be applying them with this brush, which is a Hamilton, I think it's a Hamilton Precision. So it's the slightly cheaper range from the Perfection or the New Expressions, but it's good for a testing brush. So right, so what I'll do is I'll leave you there, and as soon as we come back, I would have applied the various paints in the correct areas, and we'll be ready. So we have come back a little bit sooner than I did plan. There's been a slight change of plan, and I'll show you the reason why. So I've applied each of these coats, Everything seemed to be fine, applying the Armstead and applying the Dulux. But then when I got down to the Caparol PU satin, I noticed there was a lot of sissing upon applying it to the old oil. So, as you can see, straight away, the Caparol PU satin is not adhering very well to the old oil-based gloss. Even though it's been sanded down and deglossed, it's still reacting to the oil-based undercoat underneath. So that's not a good sign straight away. That's a complete fail. So what I've decided to do, the Albany's fine by the way, looking at it at the moment. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to put a separate bit on the bottom and apply the Caparol Haft Primer. So the Caparol Haft Primer, for everybody that doesn't know about it, is actually it's a specialist adhesion primer. So this stuff is meant for going over old oil before you apply the Caparol PU satin on top. So the reason I've done it is obvious. It's because the Caparol PU satin obviously doesn't adhere very well straight on. So we would need this product. So I'm going to compare this Haft Primer, this adhesion primer, to every one of the other finishes that I've put straight over the old oil. Like I say, we already know the PU satins failed. So the thing is, I just want to explain. I'm going to leave these to dry. Now, people do scratch tests, and they do them after half an hour or an hour. I don't see the point in that personally. Now, these are going to be recoatable after about 4 hours. For me, there's no point in scratch testing it until the 4 hours is up and they're ready for the recoat. So that's what I'm going to do. So as soon as I come back, it would be 4 hours later, and we can test these products fairly, I suppose. So right, everybody, so here we are back again, and I've given it about 4.5 to 5 hours of drying time. So now it's the moment of truth, and I'm going to give it a scratch test. So here we have the good old trusted 50p piece, and I'm just going to give them all a quick scratch. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to start with the Caparol Haft Primer. So this is specifically for going over difficult surfaces. So keyed oil-based gloss could be counted as one of those type surfaces. So Caparol Haft Primer should stick very well. Even after 4 or 5 hours, this stuff shouldn't be budging easily. So let's go with this one first. So as you can see, it's marking, but the paint isn't coming off. No paint on the 50p piece. So that is holding up quite well, to be honest. That's not bad. Not bad at all. So let's go on to the Albany. And this is the satin straight over old gloss. So we'll see if there's any difference. And to be honest, there doesn't seem to be much difference. The paint isn't pulling off. It's just marking. I am putting quite a lot of pressure on these guys. I've seen other people do these tests. They don't seem to be putting a lot of pressure on there to make it look better than it actually is. I'm not messing about. I'm putting plenty of pressure on these. So here we go. We already know the Caparol PU satin failed because it's sissing. So, but I'll give it a scratch anyway. As you can see, when it's actually dried, not too bad. It's not too bad. It is coming off a little bit. Not as bad as I thought. So now we come to the Dulux Diamond Satin. That's pretty good. It's just marking. It's not pulling the paint off, it's just marking it. Right, okay. The next one, and this is the Armstead QD satin. Now, one thing I've noticed about this one, it's still very sticky. Now, this is the issue I had with the Armstead stuff. It seems to stay soft in certain climatic conditions, and it is very tacky, and it is still very shiny. It almost looks like a gloss. So this stuff takes a long time to dry, really, compared to all the other products. But I'll give it a scratch. I don't think it's going to do too well, this one. No. So there you have it, the QD satin, the Armstead. Pretty much the only one that's failing after the 5 hours. Like I say, it's still sticky and tacky. What happens also with the QD satin is it does re-soften as well. It's another reason why I stopped using the satin. The gloss doesn't seem to have the same problem. So there you have it, everybody. I've tested all them products. I'll even go back to the Capra Left primer. And I'll tell you now, it actually feels the same as the satins. It feels the same as all the others. And it has this exactly the same result. So, my reasoning for this particular test is just to show you that a lot of the finishes, the satins in particular, I have to do the same tests on gloss. The water-based satins seem to adhere to old oil just as well as the adhesion primers. I mean, I haven't tried all the adhesion primers, but I suppose that's one thing I can do in the future is try the Bullseye 123, for example. Try the Cover Stain. Try various adhesion primers. Tikkurila do a product called Helmi. They actually do an adhesion primer called Acve. So, you know, I need to try these various adhesion primers, but Haft Primer is a very good primer, and it doesn't react any differently to the finishing paint. So this proves what I've always thought: you can go straight over oil with the finishing satins as long as you do the correct prep and you clean the surface thoroughly. So that's it, everybody. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and keep a lookout for all the other videos I'm going to be posting. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.